Hi, this is Alex Sheen, founder of Because I Said I Would. I just want to right off the bat say thank you so much for volunteering for our event table that helps fundraise for the organization, but also lets people know about the programming that we have and how they can get involved. I don't know if you know this, but 75.1% of all Americans don't volunteer a single hour in an entire year. And so what you're doing is making a huge difference for this organization. So thank you so much. I want to get right into it. This is a video. And the goal of this video is to talk about the standard setup of the table. What it isn't, what this video is not about, is event-specific information like the building, who to contact, the timetable, where to park. All that information is going to be given to you separately. This is more about, what boxes arrive, how to set up the table, what to expect on that side of the ball. So let's dive right into it. When you get into the event, you're gonna find that location of where we're at, and the first thing to do is to locate all the boxes. And what I want to do is just go through the types of things that you will see there. Now, the quantities are going to be different, right? If our event has 10,000 people, that's going to be a very different quantity of items than 1,000 people or 500. But the types of boxes are going to be the same. So the first kind of box that you're going to you perhaps see is book boxes. You'll know that because they're small, but they're super, super heavy. So that's one type of box. The second type of box is merchandise box. So that has t-shirts, that has flyers in it, that has wristbands. This is the stuff that you're physically giving to the supporter who's coming to the table to purchase or learn more kind of thing. We'll call that merchandise boxes. Then you have a supply case. The supply case has things like tape and receipt paper, tablecloth, things that we persistently reuse a bunch. That's the supply case. You'll see that. You'll see a promise wall, and this is where people can put promise cards up. And then you'll see a photo backdrop. The photo backdrop is going to be something that we just take pictures with, shake hands, kiss babies. You get it, right? And the last thing that's not going to actually be in this shipment, so all the things I just mentioned are physically shipped there. The one thing that isn't going to be in the shipment is the camera and the credit card machines. That is actually with the speaker, so harass that person and tell them to give it to you. Okay, so that's what's just generally going to be shipped, but now let's go into maybe what's in the boxes, how to set up. That supply case is the first thing you're going to want to open. You can, of course, open everything, but that supply case it has an important start to it. When you open it, there's going to be an instruction poster that basically reviews the things that I'm talking about right now, but that's kind of like I would hold on to that. I would say, okay, if I got a question or what do I do next, that has been designed to help guide some of these things. But in that supply case, you're going to find almost like a shower caddy type of thing that has little compartments, and that's each labeled like what everything is. Instead of just throwing it in all one box, we try to organize it, labeled for you so you know what's what. I would open that up. You're going to see the tablecloth in there. You're going to see the accordion folder that has some paperwork like the cash deposit bag. It's going to have volunteer waivers, things like that. All of those are labeled in tabs as well. The first thing though that you want to do is again, use that instruction sheet, and you'll see on there it says lay out the tablecloth. You're going to find two tablecloths. They are or should be identical tablecloths. You're going to lay those out, and you'll notice, and even look at this picture here, it's really what they call a planogram, but it's just like a placemat. Put the square peg in the square hole, put the round peg in the round hole. Everything's labeled where t-shirts go, where the wristbands go, where all these pieces go, and you're just going to open that merch case, open the book cases, open those things, and just put those things in those spots. So just take a look at that. Setting out all the products is important, but don't throw away any of the boxes. Do not throw away any of the boxes. Why? Because one, shipping labels, like to ship back, are actually in the merchandise case. That's part of where the shipping labels are. Now, there are other shipping labels in the accordion folder, but just want to point out, don't throw away the boxes. Second reason, don't throw away the boxes is because what if we don't sell everything, right? We got to ship it back, right? So we need those boxes. So you're going to set up the table. That includes these little poster display things. They look kind of like this. Uh, there's spots on the table for that as well. So again, just run off the tablecloth. The next thing you're gonna do is gonna set up the meet and greet area. That's super simple because really that's just a photo backdrop, right? And that's in a long, like a rectangular box. To set up the photo backdrop is super simple, but here's a quick little snippet about how to kind of get that guy up.
The first thing you're going to want to do is actually extend the pole entirely, put the tab in at the top, and then you're going to stretch that out, and it's going to sink into the bottom so that the rod is connected at the very top and the very bottom of the photo backdrop.
Okay, so now you've got the table set up, you've got the meet and greet little section set up. Now we've got to test the credit card machines and test the camera. You've got to turn on the credit card machines, the buttons on the side there. The credit card machines take like 3 minutes to warm up. Please know that these are run off of like cell phone signal. There's no Wi-Fi set up, and there's actually no password either. You just press quick access once that thing boots up. But it's important to boot it up before the table starts, because this 3 or 5 minutes that it takes to boot up, you could get a huge line going, and that's not the greatest thing. Know also that the receipt paper has already been put in there. It loads from the back, and the speaker, if they have time, should just run you through a transaction, but it really works like the grocery store. Just insert the card in the chip, follow the prompts. One important thing is that we're not giving text or email receipts, only paper receipt or no receipt, just because it takes a lot of time to hand things back and forth. But you got to test that credit card machine, and you got to also test the camera. It's really quick to just turn it on. The settings are kind of outlined on the camera. You have any questions, ask the speaker, but it's automatic point and shoot. When people are taking pictures, we tell them that if they fill out the email newsletter just to sign up, they actually get those photographs, and we email that as an album, so not individual emails to individual people. We email an album to everybody. That's the importance of the camera, and that's why we got to test it. And then grab a t-shirt. That's the next step. Grab a t-shirt. It's free. We appreciate your support that day, and it lets people know that this is where the Because I Said I Would table is. And you can even say things like, oh, this is the size that I wear, and that helps people make quicker decisions, thus help process more people and fundraise more money. Okay, so now we've set up the table. There will be some confusion. There will be some questions. Try to ask the speaker. Call our fulfillment manager. Anything that's been missed, that's your literally on the call hotline for questions. So do that. But let's get into actually running the table. The first thing is know that you can watch the speech in almost every scenario, unless the event host has some weird thing. You should be able to go in there, watch it, and then you're going to just kind of wait for my end, and you kind of rush out. You got to be at that table before I end. And what you want to do is establish a cash line and a credit line to some degree, meaning you want to constantly say for the person who's processing cash, like, I can take cash. That's quick. You might even run cash and credit, but it just makes sure that people know there are multiple lines here. They will line up in a single line or just two lines, when you might have as much as 4, 5, 6 credit card machines running at the same time. So you kind of have to talk to people and say, hey, next person, whether that's cash or credit. The biggest thing that's kind of counterintuitive about our table is that it's not even about raising money. Of course, we need that as an organization. All nonprofits do, but this is about actually getting them to sign up for our email newsletter in a big way. Why? Because then they can get connected with our chapter program. With maybe they want to help start up a program in a prison, or they want to get more promise cards for their classroom. Whatever it might be, getting them to fill that out is huge. So ask if they want a free wristband, and they can fill out that email newsletter. The form kind of looks like this. It's very simple. But that would be one of the things that I would push for the most. Then you're just processing all of those transactions, trying to be speedy, because if the line gets too long, well, then people tend not to stay, and then the nonprofit can't raise as much funding. So speed is really important. Make sure that all of the merchandise, as much as you can, is kind of set out on the table, because going back, finding which size, even when it's organized, takes a little time. So make sure you're keeping the inventory level stocked at the table. But it's really pretty straightforward. So running the table is really just running the credit card machines, asking people to sign up for the emails newsletter, or dropping their business card to get that wristband to be on our email list. And the photographer volunteer, they're going to take pictures. They're going to tell people to fill out that newsletter too to get the photo album. But that's pretty straightforward, point and shoot kind of thing. Okay, so now the Black Friday moment is over, and we've sold a bunch of stuff, helped raise a bunch of money. Now we're going to pack up. Well, we're doing kind of the reverse of what we did to set up. But important note, just go back to that instruction sheet. If you've lost, some context in the speed of the moment and the rush of the day, go back to that instruction sheet. We're going to pack all the supplies back in their specific case. We're going to pack all the merchandise, which includes the flyers, back into those respective boxes. The promise wall is different. The promise wall stays with the host. They purchased that and they own that. But the photo backdrop that for the meet and greet, that's going to be shipped back, and apply the shipping labels over the old shipping labels, so there's no confusion there. And then you're going to get a cash count. We're going to have somebody cash count, and they're going to use that cash bag and actually fill out the bag itself. The form is on the bag, so it looks, again, kind of like this, and that should be pretty straightforward. And then you're going to drop off all those boxes to a predetermined location that you should already know. And if you don't know, call or text. I would call just to get a rapid response from our fulfillment manager who should know. And of course, you could ask the event host if they know, but actually they may not know. So that should be predetermined. But in summary, that's what it is. We set up, we run the table, we pack up, use that instruction board as much as you can, and maybe more importantly, use the fulfillment manager as much as you can. Call that person, text them. They are ready and willing to answer whatever questions they can. The truth though about this whole thing, and the summary comment that I'd like to make in closing this video, besides of course the thank you for your volunteer hours, I mean, it's so appreciated, is that each one of these events are a little different. There's always a hiccup. There's something that goes wrong. Something can't be found, or something accidentally wasn't packed. It's hard to get this many details right in an event space we've never been to, with a host we've never worked with just a lot of variables there. So I really appreciate your patience in helping us work through this, because with that patience comes, again, this awesome opportunity to raise funds for the charity, to connect people with our programs. I mean, some of these people are making very, serious promises like, I will not kill myself. And so while this table seems very commercial in its nature, let's not forget the mission of the organization and the impact that promises have on this world. Thank you again, and I look forward to the impact that you can make. Okay, peace.